Hi guys, I hope you're all doing okay. I hope you're all safe and looking after yourselves and everyone around you. It's really important right now that we take care of people. So first thing to say is I hope you and your family and friends are okay. So in this video I'm going to talk about the phonemic chart. Um, This is the phonemic chart. Now, probably some of you are familiar with it. Some of you maybe not so familiar. But it's a really useful tool that can really help you with your pronunciation. You don't have to be able to read it fluently like a language. That's fine. But it's really good to have an awareness of the different sounds. So this is a particular version of the chart, and this one was invented by a guy called Adrian Underhill. I love this chart. I think this chart is amazing, and I'm going to show you why I think it's amazing. So up here in the corner, these are all the vowel sounds in English. Now, you should know that English has 5 written vowels: A, E, I, O, and U. But as you can see, there are actually 12 vowel sounds, and that's why it's so useful to understand some of this. So the letter A has got different sounds. It can be this sound, as in cat or hat. It can be this sound, as in hard or car. It can be this sound too. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but you see what I mean. We've got one letter with multiple different sounds. Over here are the diphthongs, and a diphthong is just two vowels which are spoken together, and they kind of slide from the first vowel to the second vowel. This is nothing, this is just an empty box. And then down here you have all the consonant sounds in English. Some of these look like regular letters, so that's kind of okay. And some of them are a little bit strange, like what is that? That's very strange. But I'm going to explain those in a different video. So for today we're just going to talk about the vowels. And there are really 4 things you need to understand about this part of the chart. The first thing you need to know is whether the corners, so here, of your mouth are wide apart or close together. So when they're wide apart, it's kind of like you're smiling, like this. And when they're close together, it's kind of like you're going to give someone a kiss, like this. The next thing you need to know is whether your mouth is wide open or more closed. So if it's going to be wide open, that means the jaw is going to drop down, like that. Okay, so obviously I am exaggerating a little bit, but actually English does have quite big mouth movements, and it's okay to do this. You also need to think about your tongue, and one thing you need to know is whether your tongue is high in your mouth, so touching the top of your mouth, or whether it's low down in your mouth. And the final thing you need to know is whether your tongue is forwards or backwards, because actually to make these vowel sounds the tongue moves forwards and backwards in the mouth. I can show you. It looks a bit strange. So when the tongue is forwards, here, Forward and backwards. And you should see the pen move. Okay, so let's look at how this chart actually works then. When you're going from left to right, this way, your corners of your mouth are moving from a wide position to a together position, like this. So that means that this sound, and this sound all have a very wide mouth, and these sounds over here all have a very together mouth. And I'm going to show you what that looks like at this top row up here. So we've got E, oo, E, oo. Okay, and again down here, ah, oh, ah, oh. So for both of these rows and the one in the middle, the corners of your mouth move from wide to together. Alright, now as you go from the top of the chart to the bottom of the chart in all 4 lines, your mouth goes from being closed to being open. Okay, so again I'm going to start here. This is E, ah, E, ah, and here oo, oh, oo, oh. So as you go down, your mouth opens. As you go along, your mouth narrows. Now, to talk about the tongue basically moves from a high position here to a low position here. And that means that in the middle row, guess what? The tongue's in the middle. I can't show you my tongue moving, but I can tell you that when I make these sounds, E, I, oo, oo, the back of my tongue is touching the very roof of my mouth. When I say these sounds here, ah, 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 oh, my tongue's actually really quite low. And for this line, or, my tongue's right in the middle of my mouth. And the final one, and this one might actually be the most funny one of all, is the tongue going from forwards to backwards. So basically, this column here, the tongue is forwards in the mouth, close to the teeth, and this column here, the tongue is much backwards in the mouth. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you with the top line here. E, oo, E, oo, E, oo. Now that finger is staying in the same place, and the tip of this pen is on my tongue. E, oo, E, oo, E, oo. You should see the pen moving as my tongue goes backwards and forwards. And that's it, really. So if you want to practice this, my suggestion would be I'm going to find a highlighter so I can write on it. My suggestion is to practice this line first, because this is the easiest one to do. E, U, and just slide from the E, U, like this. When you can go from here to here, from E to U, see if you can find the short vowels that are in the middle. Second one, I'd probably do the 2 that go down at the ends because they're quite easy too. So this one is E-A, E-A, and this one oo, oo. Those would be the three to start with. When you feel comfortable with that, you can start playing around with the ones in the middle. So obviously you can do them going down, and obviously you can also do them going across, like that. Doesn't really matter. Now, the ones that students usually find the most challenging are this one, that one, and that one. So for a lot of students, those are not very clear. And that's because the difference is actually very small. We're not talking about huge differences here. My advice would be to focus on the kind of big picture, get used to what's supposed to be happening physically, and slowly see if you can become more sensitive to the differences. So I hope that was useful. At some point I'll maybe do a video about the diphthongs, maybe do a video about how the consonants work in this chart as well. So yes, as I said at the beginning, keep well, keep safe, look after yourselves, your friends and your families, and let me know what you think. Take care.